Hi everyone, I'm a named Babbler and welcome back to RimWorld. Thanks for checking out the video. Last episode, our reactor finally started. So we are now in a position to build the rest of the ship and try to escape this RimWorld. The extra raids, because the reactor was starting up, are now gone and we're back to our normal raid schedule. We didn't lose anybody, nobody got injured. All the preparation that we did was really helpful, and we were able to handle the raids, even though some raids we had about 55 different things attacking us. At the end of last episode, the last raid, I called in some people from Shalonla, I called in some people from the Exodus Empire, some troopers from the Exodus Empire, and we just kind of did overkill and easily killed the last mechanoids that were attacking us. I then asked Tiffy to bring 8 laborers. So that's these 8 people on the side right here. She summoned them from the Exodus Empire using her relationship as an Archon. That's her status in the Exodus Empire right now. Because I thought that they'd be able to help us build the ship quickly, but actually they're really all pretty bad at construction. So I have them set to just hauling, and they're just going to help us haul things around, and they'll do that for 4 days. So next step, we need to build the ship and get off of this RimWorld. Now we're going to see a lot of activity just kind of going back and forth. Zach is going crazy. Look at that, how fast he is. All right, so we did check, and we are a little bit low on advanced components, I believe is what it was that we need. All right, go frenzy, which means Baiko's gonna run around crazy fast. We need something like another 20 advanced components, something like that. We'll get there. That won't take that long. And so let me just go through a couple of things then, right? Here's the ship. This is the reactor. We have the personality, ship, computer core will be over here. The sensor core will be over here. 3 engines will be there. The structural beams will be there, right in the center or at the top, not really the center. And then the beds will be on the sides. I think I have enough room for 24 beds. We have 23 people. We're not taking the laborers, obviously, but we are taking everybody from Fluff to Bertha. That's 23 people. So we're going to go ahead and build this ship. It looks, I mean, there's a lot of activity going on. A lot of hauling, building. They're getting going. And yeah, here's the plan. So once the crypto caskets or whatever they are complete, we can start loading up people. But we need to like kind of wind down this town. You know, like we're basically abandoning the town, and without maintenance, things will start to break. Our mechs will turn against us. We won't necessarily care about that because we're going to be on a ship all the way off in the stars somewhere, so we really don't care if the mechs go crazy and start attacking things. They'll run out of power. They really won't do that too much damage. I'm not worried about that for whoever the next inhabitants are for this to this town. What I do care about are the animals. So really, the only thing that we're gonna do before we leave is we're gonna probably just free all the animals. You know what? I'm gonna have Kate death rest as well as Zach. They're both right at the point where they need to death rest, so let's get them both going. If you haven't watched the last 2 episodes, I would definitely recommend you do that because you can kind of get a sense of what it is when you start the reactor and you have those 15 days of more raids. Every day and a half, you get raided either once or twice. I definitely saw an increase in raids, but because we were pretty prepared, we were able to handle them pretty well. They did get to my traps, as you can see. Actually, still some weapons laying here, so let's get rid of that. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of corpses and stuff down here. Oh, let's allow that as well. So anyway, as I was saying, before we take off, we're just going to want to maybe open up the doors here, release all of these animals to the wild so they can do whatever they want, and then start loading people up. Like, here's the structural beams. They're already done. They're already ready. All right, let's see. We have the next thing, ship. Oh, here's a personality core. I believe we have a personality core somewhere. Let's see. I don't... Maybe I need to... I don't even know how to make it. Let's see. Need a sensor cluster. Okay, so I guess I'm close to being able to finish all of it. Construction's going way faster than I thought. Here's a crypto sleep casket. We need 23. Oh, I thought I was gonna do... Okay, yeah, so it's like that. I want to kind of structure it that way. So like this. Right? And then like that. Is that what I was thinking? They won't be able to access it if I do that. I don't think they can walk over it if I do that. Let's try one. I want to see if they can walk over it, and if they can, then we'll build the rest down that way, like that. Okay. So, while they're building this, let's just talk a little bit about what we have done. We started this series nearly 150 episodes ago with Wilson and Lizzie and Rissa and the monkey Shah. Now, Shah is still alive. I've definitely mentioned her quite a few times. Shah is still alive, but Wilson, Rissa, and Lizzie are long gone. But Shah's still here. We had some notable other people. If we look at our graves here, we had Martin. Martin came in and saved us at some point. He was like the 4th colonist. And then Jash was like a little kid who got killed by the Gooink in the hallway. That was kind of crazy. That was back at like episode 8 or so, something like that. Rice, we remember Rice because Fluff was here. And Fluff tried to do an operation on Rice in the dark and wound up chopping off her left arm. Zyph was notable for... I don't really remember, but he was somebody in the colony, and he was a solid person in the colony for a long time. Zago was a good researcher. We have Prissy. I don't, a lot of these people, Laurel, these are people that just kind of came and went. But if we look back at all of our people, we had Reg. You remember Reg? So now Reg, we actually kind of almost exiled, but not. We put him down here at a little town that we made called Crossroads. And it was a very populated forest area, and we were just gonna have him stay there. At first, he was at another kind of alien place by himself. He was a loner, so he liked it. We have some other... Oh, we had Phil. He got shot in the head. He got shot in the head by a lancer. Killed in one shot. Even after we gave him that Architect leg and we weren't able to get it back. Andra, she was really good. She was a very good, strong soldier. And lasted for quite a long time. Ally. Now, you remember Ally. Ally was the first one with red eyes. She was just like Fluff. And she had a go juice dependency. She single-handedly saved the colony when we were about to die. So she single-handedly saved and carried the colony for a good 5 or 10 episodes, all by herself, really. Jackson, I knew he was a jogger. I don't really remember much else about him. Crossley, she was crazy. She lost her mind at some point. And then when she died, she summoned these sight stealers from the anomaly. All these other people were just really people that we killed and then wound up burying. They weren't colonists. But I'm just checking to make sure. There were a couple people that we lost outside of the town and we weren't able to bring them back. I'm looking Emily, Vector. A lot of graves here. We got very good at digging graves, unfortunately. Yeah, a lot of these people were just people that we wound up killing, and then we buried them because we didn't want to. We wanted to kind of just make sure that they were humans, and we didn't want to have them consumed. But then at some point we changed our mentality about that and wound up just putting them all down here to be eaten by these harbinger trees. Okay, so these crypto sleep caskets are built, or some of them are. I want to try something real quick. Let's go here. Let's see. Will you walk over that? Yes, they can. They can walk over it. Okay, so that means I can fit like that. All right, how many is that going to be? That's 12. That's 17. That's 24. As designed. We have a sensor cluster already. We're building a ship engine. Oh yeah, we have some people sleeping on the ground. Our laborers. We don't need these to be prison beds. We could change these to colonist beds. And these people can go sleep. So if you've watched all these episodes, or you've watched some episodes, what have been some of your favorite things that have happened, or memories, or crazy things? So if I just kind of look around, I mean, we struggled for a very long time with being able to feed our people. We weren't able to grow enough vegetables. Once we introduced animals, it made everything a lot easier, a lot better. Mechs were really helpful, and that's in the biotech DLC. So I initially wanted to start out with just them being lifters and cleaners, nothing else. And then they became fabricators and they started building and crafting for me and cooking. We also had a little army. Tiffy had a little army. Here are all my mech rechargers. That's how many we kind of needed for... We have something like 30 something mechs. And we needed 18 chargers. That worked out well. A lot of waste packs. That's what the mechs will generate as you use them. And yeah, there's just a lot going on right here. And there's some relationships that have happened over the years here. Kate, she joined us. Episode, I don't know, 50 something. It was, the title was something along the lines of a bloodthirsty visitor becomes family, something like that. And if I remember correctly, it was like episode 57, 58. She had a ritual right here with 2 other vampires. They left, she decided to stay. And then we had Zach at some point. He got killed right here. Right in the spot. Zach got killed by enemies that landed in transport pods right here. And Zach and Kate were engaged at that point. We wound up resurrecting Zach using a resurrector serum. And then she asked him if he wanted to become a vampire so they never would be apart again. And he said yes. And she implanted her genes, and they became our only 2 vampires, very, very strong in the colony. Phlebe and Pompeiana, notably, had started a family. Pompeiana was just raising the kids for quite a couple of years here. She had no other responsibilities. Missy was there first. And Missy is great. She's, Oh, we have a warped obelisk. Hold on. Let's pause the review to read this. A mysterious obelisk has crashed nearby. The obelisk hums with putrid psychic energy. Gradually intensifying as it approaches some dangerous limit, you can send colonists to suppress the obelisk to prevent it from activating. You can also mark the obelisk for study to try to learn its purpose and perhaps make use of it. You can always attack the obelisk to destroy it, but doing so may unleash unnatural and dangerous phenomena. Why can't this just leave me alone? You know? I mean, I don't want to do anything with it at all. I don't want to do anything with it. I don't want to really even touch it. I just want to suppress it for now. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to have somebody suppress it. They will do that. Automatic suppression. Okay. It will raise up at, let's see, it doesn't really say. Oh, 20% activity every day. Once it hits the limit here, it's going to activate. Well, we're not going to really need to worry about that because we're going to be gone. So anyway, going back to what I was saying, you have Phlebe and Pompeiana. They got together many episodes ago. They had Missy, and Missy's great. She's got a passion for almost everything. She is tough. She's iron-willed. She's a fast learner. Then her brother, Protein, he named himself Protein. We named him Phineas. And then we have Pedro, who's still a kid. Pedro is still a kid. He is currently cleaning blood. So, I'm not sure what that's going to do for him as he grows up. But, so that's the only family that we have here. Pompeiana, Phlebe, the mom and the dad, and then the 3 kids, Missy, Protein, and Palamas currently. That's their last name. But we call him Pedro. Pompeiana's just been on the ball the whole time, taking care of them. Glebe always winds up off somewhere doing something. You know, he never stayed around for any of the labor. Like, whenever she would give birth, the kid would just be there, and he would, like, immediately leave. Completely disinterested or just distracted. That's Plebe. That's Plebe for you. Anyway, Tiffy became an Archon. This is the royalty DLC. She became an Archon. And if you hit I on her, you can see her permits. Now, she did have Aerodrome Salvo. You get these different permits, things that you can do every like 60 days. So she had the Cataphract Squad, the Trooper Squad up here, and the Aerodrome Salvo. We didn't really need them when we got attacked during the elevated raids for the ship reactor activation. I changed it to Labor Gang because I thought that was going to help, but that really didn't. We just got 8 people that do nothing. You know, this is, I'd say the royalty DLC, it's somewhat useful. Like, I could have had her every 60 days call for Glitter World medicine. Do I really need that? Not really. I could have had her use the transport shuttle. But it was just nice to have kind of stuff. I'd say the most annoying DLC, you just saw an example of it, is the, oh, Bertha, what are you doing? Is the Anomaly DLC. Really was. Because all these random little obelisks and weird things would attack us, and she has now suppressed it down to 0. Or down to 1%. We're going to leave this alone. We're not even going to touch this. Alright, well, all of the beds are created. The last engine is here. Let's look at our launch report. All we need is one more ship engine, which is right here. It's just about done. And then, like I said, we're just gonna get rid of all the animals. Now, I don't want to slaughter them. I just want them to go. Oh, Pacheco is visiting a grave. Jackson. Let's see what else. Balakay and Humongous, they were together, but they just recently broke up. Joaquin and Daesh. Daesh had a rough road with us. For so many episodes, she was just so upset because she was part of the raid Ideologian. The Ideology DLC is an interesting one, but you have to really know what you're doing. Because, for example, we're part of the free path, so here's our ideology. And so we think that like things like slavery are horrible, cannibalism is abhorrent, and so on. But if you're part of like the raid ideology, you're going to want to not slaughter animals. You're not going to want to eat meat. And if you do, you get unhappy. Or if you don't raid often, you get unhappy. And that's what was kind of hurting us for such a long time. Until in like episode 70 something, we captured Glebe. The Shalomla came and helped us. Was the Shalomla? Yeah, it was the Shalomla right here from Hi. They came and they helped us when we were attacked. Glebe got injured. He was part of their faction. We arrested him. They became our enemies. We made good with them again. But he then started to convert people. And he converted everyone except for Tiffy and Kate. So everybody's free path except for Tiffy and Kate. All right, it's gonna be a lot. We can't take anything on this ship, guys. This all gets left behind. Everything that we've created. Let's go over it quick, just to show you. So our main dining room never reaches full potential, right here. Never really reaches full potential. It just kind of was a spot with chairs. I wanted to have like TVs and stuff in it. Never really did it. We did have a little cool library though. I like that with the little rugs. The little carpet, I mean, and some chairs. Some books for people to read. We got a little workshop with 4 advanced fabricators. Some storage for our cloth and whatnot. Our little spot right here is our kitchen with butchering tables, and we kept everything frozen right in here. So you'd have the ability to get the hay from right down here, put it in. I definitely like this design. Then the meat's over here because we would slaughter, and the corpses would come in here, and then the meat would be stored. So whenever we need to make kibble or meals, everything was right here in this one central spot. We have an insane amount of beds for our animals, and a little hospital for them too. Storage for kibble. We have our mech gestators. Little area. This is probably oversized. We have our corn, our potatoes, our waste pack atomizers. If you are going to make mechs, if you're going to go get biotech and make mechs, you gotta level up your research to a point where is it? Right here. You want waste pack atomizer. You need like 1 waste pack atomizer can keep up with 3 or 4 mechs. They create waste packs. If these things blow up, they create pollution. And it becomes a toxic thing. It's a problem. So if you get mechs, you gotta have at least 1 for like every 3 or 4. I think it's like 3.8 or something when we tried to calculate it. So just call it 4. Oh, 1 just got vaporized. We have a throne room. This is Tiffy's throne room. She did well in that. She threw a concert just a couple episodes ago. Right here, she played on the piano. It was very monotonous. She's not very good at it, but because people respect her, they didn't really criticize her. We had gene extractors and gene assemblers here, but we got rid of it because we wanted to reduce our wealth prior to all the increased raids. The biosculptors were cool, but not as useful as I thought they could be. There is an ideologian that works well with it, and I think it's the Fieltism one. Yeah, transhumanist. Anything in biosculpting is half the time. So that's really the only time. That's the only time that I would actually even use biosculpting is if I had that ideologian. Mortars, very cool, very inaccurate, but if you have 8 of them, you're bound to hit something. So we usually would kind of like use all 8, we'd target something over here, and if 1 or 2 hit it, it was great. Alright. Wish I could send these laborers home. They're going to leave in 2.4 days. And yeah, so what else? We had a little prison. We never really had to make much use of it, but we had 4 different bedrooms and 6 beds right here, which I guess for now they're being used by the people that are helping us, so that's good. And what else? This is the room for Kate and Zach. They are still in their death rest. They will wake up in 1.7 days. Let's talk about the kill zone or the trap. This took me a while to figure out. So if you're struggling with knowing what kind of trap system to make, this worked incredibly well. Okay, so just kind of quick overview of it is Some enemies are going to create a base far away, and they'll create mortars and they'll mortar your town. They'll only attack you once their mortar is disabled or if you attack them in some way. Others will breach your walls. Mechanoids or people with breaching axes, they'll just chop down your walls. But most every raid, it's way more than half, they just want to find a way into your base. So if you have an entrance to your base, whether it be an open door or something like that, they're going to go there. So even if they come in over here in the top left corner and you have an open door on the right side over here, they're going to skip all these walls and everything, all these doors, and they're going to go to that open door. So the way that you want to kind of strategize that is to see, where do I want the entrance of my base to be? And so I'll kind of explain that the entrance to my base is actually here. This is open. And if you follow it down, this is open, this part's open right here. All these traps back and forth, which I'll show you more in detail in a second, it's all open until you get down to this spot right here. So that's actually the entrance to my base. So if they're going to attack on foot, they're going to come to this one little spot, and they're going to start to come down these hallways. Now, initially we had just traps. One tile wide, we had a whole bunch of traps. And what wound up happening was people were triggering them, they were getting hurt, and that wasn't good. So what you do is, you make it too wide, you put one fence on one side, you put a trap on the opposite side in between, just like this. And the enemies don't see these traps. They don't know the traps are there. So what they do is they see the fence and they say they want to avoid the fence. So they come on this side and they hit every single trap. Your people know the traps are there. So they'll go from this spot to here and they'll kind of go up and down and diagonal like that because they're avoiding the traps and they know that they're there. This was incredibly effective. Steel is expensive. It's 45 material to rearm them. We have 175 of them, so that's like, I don't know, what, 8,000, 9,000 steel? Something like that. And so if they all got triggered, we'd need a lot of steel to actually, rearm them. But we only started using steel once we had a lot of steel at our disposal. We were using wood prior, and that's why there's all this cacti over here, because we were just using wood and harvesting the wood. But this design was really good, and if you're going to do something like this, I would also highly recommend you kind of put the materials that you need to replenish your traps kind of in the center here, or off to the side. We had it off to the side at some point, and we had doors to each row. That worked fairly well. But it created another entry point for people to be able to get into the base. Why do we have this row of this column of doors here? We wanted our people to be able to have an easy way to get out of the base. So out of the base, and also to rearm all of the traps. So highly recommend this design. It took me 3 or 4 different times to redesign this to find this, and I didn't find any way to improve this. So I was happy with this design. Then lighting. You have floodlights. You could put other lights, but you want to put lights right here at the entrance to where the mechs or the people, if they made it through all of your traps, which has actually, once we changed to steel, that never happened. They never got all the way through. But when it was wood, they would routinely get through. And you wanted to light it up here because that will increase the accuracy for your people and your guns. So I sometimes would put snipers over here in the top left or over here. And you see it's dark over these corners. So at nighttime especially, it's dark. So when the enemies would get here, they'd have a hard time attacking us and hitting. But we would see them because they're basically lit up. And so that really helped. Ship is ready. Ship is ready. So I think Kate and Zach are not going to be awake for another day and a half. That's okay. We have plenty to do still. Plenty to do still. I think Hal will kind of handle this. I mean, we have these people helping us. They're going to leave in 2 days. You know, can I switch all of them to handle animals? Oh, they will not handle animals, of course. They're basically useless. That was a waste to get them. Okay. What else can I just kind of explain and why I did it a certain way? You have these mech boosters. These are really good, actually. I would, again, highly recommend using them. They increase, oh geez, I forget the exact amount. I think the run speed by a certain amount. The work speed by 50%. These are for just mechs. And then the walk speed by 10%, something like that. The only disadvantage is it also works on the mechs that attack you. So if there's mechs here that are attacking you, they'll also move faster. And why did I do it to begin with? You can see right here. This covers the entire trap system. Oh, there's a mech. See what he's doing? The Constructoid. Avoiding the traps. That's what your people would do. But anyway, he is, let's see, his global work speed. Yeah, the mechanoid boost is 50% faster, like I thought. And then the walk speed, where's that? I should know where to look by now, huh? There's the move speed. 15% move speed increase, not 10, 15. So 15% movement increase and a 50% work increase. So the original intention was to have all these mech boosters here so that the Constructoids could quickly rearm everything. When these were wood, we kind of needed that, but as soon as these became steel, we never needed that. So do with that information what you will. They became kind of unnecessary. They were good, though, over here where we had our fabricors doing things like cooking and butchering. And then even here in our little lab here, our workshop, not a lab, that helped as well. Hospital, again, if you're just trying to learn what's really important, what's not, this is a pretty good setup. Good setup because I'll explain a little bit better why. So you want your vitals monitors at the head of the beds. I mean, maybe somebody's made a more efficient setup. I'm sure they have. But the vitals monitor at the head of the bed, so you have one vitals monitor is taking care of 2 beds right here. When somebody's being treated, they're always standing to the left of the bottom of the bed. Or down, I should say down 1 tile, I guess is what I should say. So they would stand, like for this bed, they'd stand here. And for this bed, they'd stand there. So by putting the shelves in between these beds, that's not interfering with anything, and they have very quick, easy access to medicine. These TVs, you can see where the white is that cover the beds right there. Wherever the head of the person is, that's where you want the TV to cover. And if they're not asleep, they will get recreation bonus even though they're sick and they're in the hospital. That helps keep them happy even though they're sick and in the hospital. So 2 TVs can cover 12 beds, and 6 monitors covers 12 beds, of course. Lieb is in a shoot frenzy. Oh, okay. All right, Fleeb. You want to go out with the bang, Fleeb? It was shoot more accurately. He doesn't really have much to do. Maybe we'll just have him go off and shoot some rats or something. Right? You want to shoot some rats? And some bunnies or something? Sure. So he has a shoot frenzy, so we're gonna have him do that. Okay, I'm just trying to think what else here. Other things to consider is distance and roll. So you might be looking in the workshop here and saying to yourself, why is there cloth right here and devil strand right here? Right here. Here's tailoring stations. Here's cloth. And it's right here too. There's cloth and devil strand right there. So it's pretty close. I will tell you that every single step counts. Every cell that your people walk takes time. So if your tailoring stations are here and you have your cloth right here, whoever's doing tailoring only has to live in that square, the little rectangle right there. If not, they have to walk away from the seat. They got to come down here, get some cloth or devil strand. It's double or triple the distance. So what you do is you set your wooden... Oh, Fleeb, calm down, Fleeb. So you set your wooden shelf and the storage as important, because there's different priorities. There's critical, important, preferred, normal, and low. You set it as important, and it'll get filled up. And the ones down here you set as preferred, and they get filled up second. So as soon as somebody grabs cloth from this shelf, and they start using it, somebody who's assigned to hauling, or a mech that's assigned to hauling, a lifter, will come down here, grab the cloth, and replenish the shelf up here. So once I started thinking about things in that way, the game got a lot easier in how to manage people. You were making them do the things they wanted to do and the things that they were good at. The other thing I would say is, for your bills, if somebody's going to make a t-shirt, have them drop it on the floor. There's no reason for them to take it to the best stockpile or do it to some sort of stockpile or something like that. They can just drop it on the floor. There's no reason to have them do that work. They're a crafter. They're a tailor. They're not a hauler. They're not a lifter. Drop it on the floor, and then somebody will come along. It's their job to move stuff. They will come along. They'll grab it and they'll put it in the appropriate spot. And your crafter can keep on crafting. So that's kind of why you see these materials here. We got cloth and devil strand. We got some chem fuel and some steel and components and everything like that. Gold, plasteel, all around here. So that way, I mean, you just saw it. Pacheco just ran over there to grab. She's going to grab that. So to get those 4 ingredients to make an advanced component, Pacheco only needed to walk to here and to here. And that was it. Never needed to leave this little room. Alright, so Kate and Zach are going to wake up in about 21 hours. So the other thing, let me just see if there's anything else to talk about when it comes to rooms. This worked out with our coolers, I could definitely say that. I was nervous about that in the beginning. Sha is confused due to dementia. She will recover. So this base, for the longest time, only had four coolers. When the base was about like that size, we needed 4 coolers to keep it cool. It was plenty. And how we achieved that is we had a central spot of coolers. We had it's 3 now, but we used to have 2 here. You take this roof off. So you take the roof off there, make a door for access. But we had 2 coolers right there set to 70 degrees or 68 degrees, something like that. And the venting room is here. And then every other room, what we did was we made vents. So all these little squares right here, all vents. And then we had 2 more over here. And as we needed more, we made a little bit more, but we really only needed 6 total. This is for our freezer, so that has 3 dedicated ones. But this whole entire area was plenty fine with 4 to 6 coolers and just vents in every room. So I know that in the past I tried to make each bedroom have its own cooler. That's not necessary. Not even close. So my recommendation would be I had them centrally located. I probably would instead have planned them to be more spread out. So instead of them all being right here, the 6 right here, I started to add one like over here by the art area and the stonecutter's table and all that. I would probably keep them a little bit further on the outskirts, so that way they kind of blow air into the center of the base. Because your activity in the center of the base isn't going to change the temperature as much as your activity at the edges when they're going in and out of doors. Okay. I think we're going to start releasing some animals. I think it's time. Kind of crazy. Okay, so we're gonna need to coordinate, though. I mean, there's a lot to do. There's still a lot to do. We have to release all the animals. Everybody's got to grab their buddies. Everybody's already been told very clearly. A note was sent out to everybody. And so, like, Fluff knows who they're responsible for. Humongous and Penny, they know who they're responsible for to get everybody into the pods, and then we just gotta launch. Just gotta go. So let's see. First, we need to release all these animals, and we need to leave a door open because we want them to roam away, roam free. But we don't want them to be stuck in the walls here, so we're gonna open maybe that door. So let's release all the animals. Let's do that. We're gonna hold open that door. Penny, you're gonna go down there and do that. Okay, so Penny has now opened that door, which will mean that these guys are going to start leaving, but we're going to do this. We're going to double click on the chickens and we're going to release them to the wild. We're going to double click on the cows and release them to the wild, and all of the elephants, releasing them to the wild. This will make many people unhappy because they are bonded. There's some people that are bonded. They are bonded to these animals. But we're not going to be here to take care of them. Phlebe is going off killing things right now. See what I thought? Well, see what he's doing? He's hunting this rat. What are you hunting this rat for? Oh, Phlebe. Anyway, so we are currently releasing everybody. Releasing all these animals. They deserve to roam free. I'm actually getting a couple people here to take care of that, to help them with that. And that door is open, so they will be able to leave that way too. I don't know who's actually taking... I think they're all... The people that would normally take care of this are asleep right now. Oh, they're trying to actually save them. They'll get to it where they release them. So I think, because, you know, what's going to happen is now we have a vulnerable doorway. Because now the doorway is open. We can't... I want them to just get released at this point. Alright, well that's something weird. I wonder why they're trying to save them instead of just releasing them. I wonder if it's because I have that door open. Let's try something here. Okay, yeah, I think I might have to click them to have them release them. That does not make any sense. So I'm just gonna let them kind of do their thing. I don't know why they're doing that. Is it because this door is open? Let's test that. Let's be one of the last things that we test. Close this door. So when you look at the work schedule and you go to animals, or go to handle, I should say, it says rope roaming animals as the first thing they do. So that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. They are trying to save the animals because the pen, I opened up the pen. So live and learn. So with the pen being open and them roaming, the first thing they went and they did was they went to save all the animals. Okay, but like I was starting to say, in handling, the first thing they do is rope roaming animals. So that's their first priority. Then they feed them. Then they release them to the wild. So once they rope all these random roaming animals, they would have released them anyway. But I'm just gonna have them bring them back into the pen here, release them all, and then we'll take care of it. So them moving them over here was kind of a waste, but it'll be fine. It'll just take them a second to grab them all. I'm gonna get more people on handling. All right, so what I was starting to say was everybody knows who they're responsible for. They have a buddy to go with to get to the ship. Because what's going to happen is we're going to release all these animals. We're going to open the door. And we're going to get out of here. And it's going to be fast. We're not taking any personal belongings. We're not taking any possessions. The militars, the mechs, all that. So all the mechs are staying behind, but that's it. Just the mechs are staying behind. Everybody knows the plan. These laborers are gone in 22 hours, so I'm glad for that. But everybody knows the plan. Release the animals, open the door so that the animals get away. Pay your last respects at all the graves. And especially to people like Rissa and Lizzie and Wilson that started the whole thing. And an ally that kept us going, and all these people. And then get on the ship and launch. And then we just need to imagine that somebody at some point will come across this town and say, wow, this is a big town. They'll see the little sign that says, this is hope. that was once inhabited by the Babblers. And there you go. Now, I did want to check one thing, remember? Can our monkey get on here? No, the monkey cannot get on the crypto sleep casket. So Shah is going to be... Shah was the one that was bonded to Wilson. As I said, that it was the first animal we ever had. Shah is still here. And Shah is going to get released to the wild. Now, Shah is going to be protected by a lot of these other animals. She has 39% movement speed, 12% hearing. She's in rough shape. She's got dementia. But some of these elephants have told us that they're going to protect Shah. So Shah's going to get released to the wild. Everybody's getting released to the wild. Okay. Oh, looks like we have some chickens that were not flagged to get released to the wild. Let's flag the rest of these chickens here. Okay, we're finally... Everybody's back. Now they're going to just get all released. Here we go. As they turn from white to blue, they are no longer ours. What I don't like is that they, there's no door open for them, so I'm going to do that real quick. Animal disease. Okay, that's fine. They'll be fine. All that beeping is all these animals being returned to the wild. Okay, let's see. Do I have everybody flagged to get returned to the wild? I do. Alright, I don't need to watch the screen at all anymore, because they're all flagged to be released. Perfect. I'll just go to plan as we go. And as they do it. Now, what I don't like is that they're... Why are they in here? Why are we in here, guys? Oh, I think they're actually actively moving them into the wild. That's what they're doing. Okay, we'll open up these. We'll have to open up some of these doors, actually. Okay, I don't want to leave until I hear the beeping stop. And besides, we still have our friends here that need to leave in 14 hours. I feel like I should shut all these other responsibilities off. Like, I don't need mining anymore. So why confuse everything? But I'll just leave it alone for now. Wow, big project to get rid of all these animals. I just don't want to be raided right now. Okay, they're going crazy. They are releasing all these animals. They're putting them in here, which is kind of funny. they consider this the closest spot to be released to the wild. But the animals, there's multiple doors open. They will find their way out. But why would they leave? Look at all this hay. Yep, they can get out of this little square right here by going that way. In fact, I'm going to have it that all this is open. We'll keep all this open so they can get to it. No reason they can't still... If they want to still stay around and use these beds, they can. That's fine. I mean, they may not want to leave home. Some do. Beep, beep, beep. All right. They're really releasing all these animals pretty efficiently. Everything's going right to plan. We've gone over this for many years at this point. What's the plan when the ship is finally done? Well, we're going to release all the animals. We're going to not worry about the mechs. We're going to... Everybody knows who to get onto the... You know, make sure so-and-so gets into the crypto sleep casket in the ship. And everything like that. So, that's just what we're going to do. We're going to enact the plan and wait for it. Almost done. Wait till the beeping is gone. Colonist needs rescue. What's wrong, Humongous? Why are you downed? Why'd Humongous just get downed? Oh, Kate bit Humongous. Who started the fight? Humongous spoke badly of Kate's ambitions. This drove Kate into a rage and she began a fight. Wow, look at this. She really beat up... Look at this. She beat up Humongous. I guess she never really liked Humongous or something. Right index finger bitten. Jeez, Kate? Well, Kate, what happened to you? You got bruised too. Alright, well... Looks like the paramedic is rescuing Humongous, which is great. How long till you guys are gone? 6 hours? 5 hours? Good, because you laborers, you 8 laborers, did absolutely nothing for me. I think there's just 1 or 2 more chickens and we're done. No more beeps. Okay, so this has been a very long road. We started out in a very small house, incredibly small house, somewhere down here. And then we wound up moving to up here and building out. And I will share a couple other things, but one other thought is, as I said earlier, always thinking about the steps that you take. The amount of steps, because it's really important to make them as efficient as possible. You want to keep your base compact. I've said it before, so I won't go through the whole thing again, but I will say quickly, This area right here is pretty much where people are throughout the day, all day. They're in the workshop, they're in the dining room, they're getting food. Then once a day, they go off to their bedrooms, or maybe once a day they have to grab something from our storage area, or cook, or tend to an animal. Then once a week, or maybe even longer than that, they have to go out to these bigger outskirts over here to harvest plants and whatnot. So if you create your base, think about that. Think about, you don't need your bed to be in the center of the base. It shouldn't be the center of the base. It should be close, but it shouldn't be the center of the base. Your farming should not be the center of the base if you're going to be making corn that you harvest once every 11 days. You're using up valuable space where somebody would walk for something that's not going to be productive. So I've heard all the beeps go away. I'm zooming out. I see nothing else that is white. So animals are done. Check mark. They're all released. Done. Not going to worry about them anymore. I'm just waiting for these guys to go away. They're going to leave the shuttle in 1 hour. And then we're going to start our quick evacuation plan. The shuttle is probably going to land like over here. How's that? Right on cue. All right, you guys, you really were not helpful to me. So get in the shuttle, please. Okay, they're in the shuttle. I think all of them. See you guys. Well, actually, we won't see you. And we left some unharvested materials here. All this is plasteel. 14 things of plasteel. That's definitely what you want to use your long-range scanner on. These long-range middle scanners, you want to use get plasteel and set the ground-penetrating ones. 1 or 2 is good. I like 2. If you look, all this green, that's all resources we could mine right here and not have to even leave the map. So that was really useful. But I think we're ready to go. So let's load on up. Load on up. All right, well, anyway, while everybody's loading up, I'm going to do some like final checks here. Yeah, so we have various people are going to go off to the different crypto sleep caskets. We also have, let's see, anything else that we need to do with animals? I think we're fine with animals. I think we're totally fine with animals, actually. And, you know, the other thing, too, is we have some couples, like I was talking about. We have Kate and Zach, so they have preferred spots they want to go in. Okay. They're all just heading on over. And if you don't want a spoiler of what the ending looks like when you do a ship ending, then I'll give a brief pause to make sure that doesn't happen, and you don't get messed up and see something you don't want to see. Okay. Okay, well, they are all at their assigned Okay, they're all their assigned areas. All right, and Fleeb is currently making a jump pack. Of all things, Fleeb, you're making a jump pack. Maybe you should find your wife. And yeah, so come on, Fleeb, let's go. All right, Fleeb is going. Once Fleeb gets here, we're good to go. All right, we are pausing in a second. Once he loads on up, we are all good to go. Fleeb's getting in. Last one. He was the one to check everything, make sure the doors were open for the animals. He was given all those last tasks to do. We are now paused, and we are going to go ahead and launch the ship. So this is going to be the end theme if you use a ship escape as your way to see a game ending in RimWorld. If you've been with me this whole journey, thank you. It's been almost 150 episodes of kind of crazy times. I started out as a RimWorld noob, and I think I'm barely intermediate now. Still make mistakes, but it's been very fun. So let's go ahead and launch the ship and see what happens. Oh no. Well, we'll go over this in a second, but it says you've launched the ship. These colonists escaped. Pelican, Baiko, Daesh, Howie, Fluff, Mirak, Chakin, Joaquin, Maker, Torres, Bertha, Flea, Pompeyana, Zach, Kate, Penny, Tiffy, Balake, Pacheco, and Humongous. These colonists were left behind. Missy, Protein, and Palamus. Fleeb, what did you do? Anyway, the kids got left behind. Your machine persona will now try to guide the ship to a safe place. It might find a prosperous planet in this system, or it may undertake a centuries-long journey to another star. It might even decide to hide under ice on an asteroid for a few thousand years, waiting for someone to build a new glitter world here. You'll find out when you wake up. In memory of Lizzie, Rissa, Wilson, Jash, Jackson, Ally, Lynn, Andra, Rice, Zeif, Olesia, Galvin, Philippus, Zega, Crossley, Savannah, Martin, Laral, Reg, Anastasia, Tyranian, Haunt, and Simmons. And here's the credits of everybody. I am going to skip this part. I'm just going to kind of scroll down. And I'll zoom up a little bit because they do deserve this really, really good game by Tynan Sylvester is the main design, and Will Stacy and Thorsten Klotz. And then all the engineers, you could read all those credits at some point. But great game, good job. All the different art and the testers, development volunteer testers. Look at all these people involved in this. Different languages. I'll scroll down while I up the music a little bit. Thanks for playing. says thanks for playing. All right, let's skip the credits. Oh, the ship is gone. Everybody left except for 3 people. The 3 kids. Missy, Protein, and Pedro. Fleeb was supposed to be in charge of all of that. Those are his kids. When Pompeiana and Fleeb wake up, Pompeiana is going to be very mad at Fleeb. And Fleeb will be disappointed too, I'm sure. But these 3 kids have been left here alone and abandoned by the entire colony. Missy is 15 years old, Protein is 10, and Pedro is 5. There's nobody else here with them except some animals that are going to roam away because they're now released to the wild. And it looks like Shah is still here with them. So Shah is here as a continuity point, it looks like, from our original group of people. Missy, Protein, and Pedro were left behind. But maybe they will carry on the legacy and continue this game at some point. But for now, that's it for this episode, and that's the end of this series. Thank you for watching this episode and any of the other ones that you may have or will go back and watch. Be sure to follow and subscribe for more inane babblings. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.